The Sonic series and stellar music go hand in hand. Whatever happens with the gameplay, the games usually have an elite soundtrack 9 times out of 10. Like most of you probably, I've grown up listening to Sonic music since my childhood, even listening to the Sonic Advance sound test with the tiniest pair of headphones humanly possible, but it didn't change the fact that I was focused on those ever so lovely tunes. You kinda tune out the tinnitus. And one category that always kept me coming back were the boss themes. The sinister, dramatic, but often always energetic themes in their beloved, usually minor key, kept my brain swirling while I enjoyed the gameplay, whether it be taking on Dark Gaia, obliterating the Egg Emperor, or kicking the ever-loving crap out of the Titans. There are always some bangers wrapping some of the most talented minds in the industry. With that said though, there are definitely some boss themes that get spoken about a lot more than others, which is inevitably what happens when you have a musical library as vast as Sonic's. But in this video, I want to talk about some boss tracks that have perhaps been left a little more underrated over the years. All entirely my opinion, of course. It can often depend on which part of the franchise you're into more than others. I mean, as a baseline, don't expect any of the final boss themes from any of the mainline 3D games. They are amazing, obviously, they get a lot of love, and I'm going to talk about boss tracks that don't get as much love. So without further ado, here's a selection of underrated boss themes from across the series. The drum beat on this one is absolutely fearsome. It is relentless. It doesn't stop, much like the riders themselves, which is understandable when they're trying to stop a giant robot xenomorph and a black hole from destroying the world. The orchestration carries with it that sense of urgency all the way through, and this track probably is one of the best climaxes in a Sonic boss track probably ever. The combination of the flaring trumpets, the relentless drums, the thumping bass, it just keeps escalating until suddenly it drops. It catches you off guard, as if to say, it's not over yet. I love it when it feels like that. Now, if you're like me and you play Sonic Battle, this track is going to make you feel things. Being a direct remix of the Colosseum and Emerl themes from that game, this plays as you fight to take down Gemerl, Eggman's latest creation made from the data of Emerl, and it is awesome. It takes the already chaotic and toe-tapping beat of the Colosseum with the somberness of the original Emerl theme and slows it down into something more dramatic and befitting of the final fight. The synth violin really carries it through, and there is a great amount of emotional depth and weight to it. Utterly stunning track, is one of the ultimate if you know in all Sonic games. This is so very energized. The melody has a wonderful upper level which has these intricate rhythms playing, and the lower levels are like da da da, which kind of makes the whole thing through its repetition. It reminds me of the Wario Land 4 boss theme, where this crazy strand of notes plays but its lower melody stands out and complements it really well. It certainly suits how looming the egg projector is, that's for sure. The Game Gear wasn't immune to having good tunes itself, oh no. There is a wonderful ominous melody to this, full of complex little beepy rhythms and a real driving feel to it. It's funny when you hear this and look at the bosses in the game, because they genuinely seem really comedic half the time. You hear this, and then you find yourself fighting a slightly larger than normal Motobug, or a big tall worm boy. It's adorable how serious it takes itself. I mean, maybe that's the point. In any other game of this time, this would be the dramatic first boss, the big game changer for the protagonist. For Sonic, it's a small, mildly pissed off robot. I mean, this just rocks, I don't know what to tell you. Crush 40 just goes hard at the best of times. The first few seconds of this immediately lets you know what you're in for. It's that aggressive slashing shift that grabs your attention before we go into a more traditional Crush 40 vibe for the remaining bars. It really fits the scenario given that Sonic is fighting historical versions of 3 of his most powerful friends, and this time they are bloody swords! Johnny once again gives an iconic vocal. This man is just so good. I've always loved the US version of the Stardust Speedway CD themes, but this remix goes absolutely relentlessly hard. It adds so many flourishes, a little bit of dubstep here and there, which I know is controversial, but I think it really goes with this battle. I particularly adore the little climatic rising synths that really give this battle a sense of finality, like it's a it all comes down to this kind of vibe against metal. Even though it really isn't metal, it's just a big clone. It's not a patch on Hyper Metal Sonic! But that's a story for another day. I digress. This is a much more restrained and less bombastic final boss theme than we're used to from Sonic, which fits this boss really well as it's more strategic than anything else. It has a very strong melody which has a sense of intrigue to it, like you're figuring it out. It reminds me a bit more of an Ace Attorney Logic theme, subdued and somber. It's quite unique. This is a real song of two halves. You have this proper mysterious dubstep beat and melody which takes up the first half, with a lot of intricate note flourishes which carry this intimidating feel, perfect for the giant metal spider. It's somber, understated, serious, almost sneaky. And then, oh shit, it goes completely in the other direction. It becomes this real bombastic theatrical epic, complete with an orchestra, you hear the trumpet strings, and it feels like such a hero theme as the speed just ramps up. I love it so much, it's a gorgeous composition. In any other game, this would be the climactic finale. For Sonic, It's merely a simple mini-boss. I adore that this starts off as a variation of Grand Metropolis before quickly becoming this intense, somewhat regretful battle theme really, like a man this sucks, can we just get along kind of feel. The instrumentation is fun, it takes the bouncy nature of Hero Sims and makes a somewhat serious minute. I mean, if your experience of Heroes team battles are like mine, then they can last anywhere between 20 seconds to 3 minutes. Mad really. Now, if this isn't the most intense theme you've ever heard for something that is effectively a slot machine, you're probably lying. This has no right to go this hard given what this boss basically is, but at the same time, it circles around to being perfect. I mean, for one thing, it's one of Eggman's most bafflingly designed machines. Like, I get that he has a Shadow Fever button for the androids, but maybe he should have turned it off when facing the real deal. IQ of 300. Anyway, Jun Senoi is brilliant at the best of times, and this is just another one of his most foot-tapping works. With a riveting techno rhythm and a complementary rapid and aggressive bass line that feels more like a Phase 2 battle of a giant mecha, this is some Ron Russellman level intensity right here. In any other game, this would be the protagonist's last desperate charge. For Shadow, it's merely a puzzle game. Kunichi Tokoi loves to make his orchestrations just feel huge. He's made some bangers. This is the initial boss theme for Knight as you escape his shield, and yeah, it's pretty terrifying. This is basically Jaws in a sonic filter. It's climatic, this rolling bass line and drum beat, and it really makes you feel the stress of the pursuit, like you're dealing with a beast that is snapping at your heels, which you basically kind of are. Definitely one of the underrated Frontiers tracks in general. It really is quite bizarre how the vast majority of the Sonic Chronicles soundtrack is Well, it's not good, is it? Putting it lightly. But this track is wicked. It goes through a whole range of vibes. The dance beat synth to straight up industrial. It's such a complex instrumentation that really has a lot going on if you listen to the whole thing. This feels like the composers were just told to go absolutely ham, so it feels like an insult to them that the battle can be completed in roughly 30 seconds. In any other game... Wait, hang on a minute. I adore this. For an allegro, it subverts your expectation for a bit. It becomes more of an adagio for the first half, and it becomes absolutely beautiful. Thinking about it, it takes on a similar progression to the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All examination allegro theme. I mean, for a supersonic Burning Blaze battle against Eggman on lava, you can't really ask for anything less than something magical. And then, when it decides it's had enough of being adagio, it goes bloody presto. The drum beat just goes super in itself, pushing the DS sound fonts to their limit there, I must say. There is a lot conveyed by this song. Desperation, sadness, regret, but determination and ferocity also. This big song of Sonic Battle plays during Emerl's battle with Eggman, which is simply an afterthought compared to the battle between Sonic and the corrupted Emerl straight after. You spend the entire game getting to know Emerl, seeing him become friend to everyone. And this is how it ends. This track is filled with emotion, and the GBA sound fonts are worked to their finest here, giving it a rough feel that genuinely works, including one of the most depressing synth melodies in Sonic history. I did say, if you know, you know. There we go then. 14 wonderfully composed tracks from across the years of Sonic's pretty darn marvellous compositions. This series has got some real musical talent attached to it, and I'm so grateful. I mean, I'm also reasonably obsessed with it and shall remain so, and so shall you probably. Are there any boss tracks that you don't think get enough love? Then do let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you for sticking around also if you have done so. And thanks for all your support on this relatively new channel. My mind has been kinda blown on the views the last two have gotten, but I'm just glad to be here. I put off making Sonic videos for far too long. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and all that YouTuber jazz, you know the score. So until next time, see ya!